Have you ever written a letter to yourself? Yeah, it sounds dumb when you say it like that, but let me explain. I needed help once, and someone said something to me that changed my perspective. They said, think back. No, further back. Much further. When everything felt okay. Can you even remember such a time? What were you doing back then? Go back there. And then they said, I want you to write a letter. This letter is from your past self, and he's going to look at present you right now, but without all the judgment and baggage that you've picked up over the years. And he's going to tell you what's really the matter. This video is really just an invitation to reconnect with yourself. If you're feeling lost or confused with where you are in your life right now, tell me I'm wrong and you're not struggling to make sense of it all. This is something personal, and I need to share this because I think you need to hear it, because I needed to hear it. This is a letter from my past self. Part 1. Dear me. Dear me, thank you for your letter. I never thought I'd receive a message from the future, but I'm happy that I did. That's very cool. But I wanted to write you back because I got very sad reading it. You asked me what I want to be when I grow up. I thought this was a bit strange because the answer should stare at you when you look in the mirror, but maybe you just forgot, so I'll remind you. But first, let me tell you why today is so special. Today, Mom picked me up from school early because it's our last day of term, and I'm very excited because Dave is coming over and we're gonna play video games. His brother bought the new Resident Evil game, and he's gonna bring the CD with him. Oh, and I just got a new skateboard, so we're gonna go skate in the parking lot this afternoon. Yeah, it's been a very good year for me. I just finished writing my first ever book on the computer. It's a horror story about people that get stranded in a city after it's taken over by these creatures from hell. I got the idea from Doom 2. I don't know if you remember writing the story, but Dad says it's really good and I should keep writing things. So, about your letter. Well, it confused me because you said you were still writing stories, but it wasn't your job. And the thing you told me that you do for your actual job didn't make much sense. You said you hated it. So I wanted to ask you why you chose to do it if you hate it so much. You spoke about how you played in a band in front of thousands of people. That was also quite strange because I've never played music before and I don't really know if I would like it. But it does sound fun. Why didn't you just do that for your job? I mean, our job. You told me about how you'll be getting married soon. That's really cool, but also scary. I haven't met any girls that I like yet. I don't even know how to talk to them. They're so different. But it's nice to know that you figured it out at one point. There was a part of your letter that made me scared, and it was when you described what people are like in the future. It sounds like a very sad place. You said everyone walks around like zombies, looking at little computers in their hands called smartphones. But you said that they don't really use it to call each other even though it's a phone. You also said that people don't make as much effort to be together anymore, and that they're all kind of lonely and lost. Wow, that's really strange. What are they doing on those little computers that's so important anyways? I mean, I feel lonely sometimes, but I go to my friend's house and then I play video games. Or I just ride my bicycle and then I feel better. Don't you have a bicycle or friends to go to? Yeah, the future does sound pretty sad. You told me how giant programs in these small computer phones influence everyone to like and do what they want you to do. You said it was like a TV with infinite channels that kind of sucks you in and controls your life. That sounds really horrible. I don't even like TV. I mean, unless I'm playing video games on it. I also got very sad because you told me everyone only does things for money, or they'll only do things if it's easy. I felt like that kind of takes the fun out of everything if you only do it on easy mode. And I know that people who obsess over money are usually not very good people to begin with, and not really someone I would want to be around. But you said that everyone is obsessed with money because everything is so expensive when you are, but pay is very low. That sounds very unfair. I feel like you should only be doing things that you love and that are important. Like me, I like writing. I want to write horror stories like Stephen King or Dean Koontz, and I want to design horror video games like Silent Hill. Those kind of stories are really fun, and I feel happy when I write them in my head. And I'd like other people to feel the same excitement that I do, so we can enjoy it together. I love the feeling of seeing something that came out of my head just coming to life. Anyway, I have to go now. Dave is arriving soon, and we have lots to do this holiday. Look, I'm sorry the future sucks, but for now, I hope I could remind you why the here and now is important. I don't want to miss a thing. Yours sincerely, you. Part 2. Why your younger self is smarter. So when I read this letter back to myself after younger me wrote it, it made me realize so many things, and I'd like to share my findings with you. You see, it's so easy to get caught up in doing something just for money, for survival, and often those things are not really all that rewarding. I mean, doing things that you hate just for money starts draining your soul away, subtracting the essence that makes you, well, you. And slowly, your inner child disappears. When I look back at all the happiest moments of my life, very seldom was it something where money or payment was involved. Yet, I look around now at what I spend 80% of my time doing, and it's the pursuit of money, not for wealth or riches or luxury, literally just to stand still, to survive, to live another month and pay the ever-growing bills. On the other hand, as a society, we've grown towards automation and placing less and less value on human output and more value and emphasis on profit, to the point now where we've squeezed the working class so hard that we're having to make unbelievable compromises. Most of us will never afford to own a home, and we end up having to do things like house sharing, or we'll put ourselves through anguish for hours in a cramped up commute to a job that doesn't even pay well, or getting into debt just to have a mediocre higher education, which, by the way, is becoming less and less important now that we have AI. Basically, what I'm saying is the barrier to entry to have the same life that our parents had is ever increasing. The model on which we were raised no longer exists. But you know, there's a lot more to it, in my opinion. That's just the context. And I guess the same is true for every generation, to an extent. But then I had a look at what living through this did to me, how my own psychology changed since I was a kid. This lifestyle I've taken on pushed me towards defining my value system by my paycheck, my job title, the house I live in, etc. And that's a self-defeating race to the bottom. Because, truth be told, the paycheck will never be enough. The title never translates to actual skills or lived experiences. And the house, well, it's really just a place you're going to sleep and hang out in, which can and will change many times in our lifetime, especially since most of us can only rent these days. So then I asked myself, well, what is value? How do I define it? And for that, I needed to look back to my inner child. So let's start by first ruling out what it isn't. We know it's not money, it's not status, and it's not material things. So then I needed to understand what those things actually represent in order to know where the value comes from. And to me, the answer was quite obvious. It's experiences. At the end of the day, when we're old and frail, the only thing we're left with is our memories, which makes it super important to create lasting ones that mean something to us. Now, the difficult thing to come to terms with is to accept that it's not directly possible to measure that value of experience. It's not a number in your bank account, or a follower count on your Instagram, or the number of likes or views that your post got. Sure, we've been led to believe that these things do quantify our happiness, but the truth is they don't. And be honest with me in the comments here. Have you ever been sucked into the deception of chasing social media clout and got disappointed? Trying to use socials to feel the value of your life experiences. How did that leave you feeling? For me, I felt sad and alone, sometimes even worthless. And that's because these things do not capture what happiness really is. They do not define the value of an experience, not even close. An experience, you guys, is deeply, deeply personal. It's something that belongs to you and you alone. Even if shared with others, how you felt during that moment is personal to you, and no number of likes or shares can change what it meant to you in that moment. So anyway, it took me down a bit of a rabbit hole of deeper thinking, and I started to realize something. We have developed a bit of an insecurity as a society. This constant need for validation through social media and status. And it's making us all second guess ourselves all the time, which eats into our self-confidence. So at this point, we've now uncovered two things. One, our experiential value system, the way in which we determine what's valuable, is flawed. And number two, the system we have to measure it, social media, is also flawed. So then I started asking myself, okay, how do I measure the value of an experience then? And how do I more accurately decide whether something is worth doing or not? What I know for sure is that money and social clout is 100% not the answers. Therefore, I again needed to think back to my childhood, to the letter from my younger self. And the answer that my past self revealed is quite simple actually, suspiciously simple even. Do what you love to do. Think about it. It's always worth doing something if it's something that you love to do. I mean, excluding self-destructive habits, of course. Even if that thing brings you no money at all and no one ever knows about it, no validation. At first, this feels really difficult to do because we're so wired to expect instant gratification or some kind of social confirmation like likes or shares or views, etc. And we've forgotten something: to love the process. And better yet, if you can share that process or the output with another human, it will feel even more gratifying. And there's something in that, sharing an experience with others. I feel like it's actually just as important as the activity itself, if not more so. And tell me in the comments if you also feel this way. Let me ask you something. Have you ever visited a place alone and then visited that same place but with a group of friends or a romantic partner, and suddenly that place becomes a magical memory and highly valuable in your mind? I have. Many places. And these are places I would never have even looked at twice. But since making memories with loved ones there, it's now close to my heart. And this made me realize something. Sharing the love of something is as important as having the love for it in the first place. So really what I'm saying here is it's important that we are able to create that value, create the specialness, and then share it. Because once that moment's gone, it's gone forever. Now, if you're anything like me, you might overthink the hell out of everything. Tell me if this sounds like you. You're out socializing and everything's fine, but then all of a sudden you just find yourself sort of stuck in time, internalizing and overthinking and disappearing into your own head. Kind of like a dissociation. I think this is because we've lost the ability to feel things properly anymore. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but does that ever happen to you? The thing is, I feel like we've been so conditioned by society, by algorithms, to have to measure and quantify everything, that we tend to base all of our emotions by an ROI or some kind of vanity metric on social, likes and shares, that kind of thing, if not money. And then where it leaves us is we just really don't know how to do things anymore and appreciate what we're doing in the moment. It's difficult to just be present. So the next part I'd like to discuss is a more thoughtful way of measuring the success of a decision, since we have to measure everything these days. Alright, here it goes. So to measure or verify if something is worth doing or not, ask yourself 2 simple questions. Number 1, did it make you smile or laugh? Number 2, did it make someone else smile or laugh? If the answer is yes to either of those, then that thing was probably worth doing. Again, provided it's not dangerous or harming yourself or others. And that's really all there is to it. And this is advice that I'm constantly giving myself as well, to stop looking for that instant gratification and just trust the process. Because I know it's hard to break that cycle, you guys, when we've got bills to pay and social media pressuring us to be the very best at all times, being compared to literally everyone else in the world and only seeing people's hyper-edited perfect takes on Instagram. You know, it's all very fake. Let's take YouTube, for example. This one is obviously very personal to me since I run the channel, but if you've ever had your own channel, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really easy to get stuck just staring at analytics data, views and likes or things like that. But those will never really be an accurate way to capture, for example, your growth as a creative individual, or the skills you've learned along the way, or maybe the connections that you've made. But what I've noticed is the thing that fills my heart the most is positive comments that I get from you guys. When I can see that my voice, my ramblings or opinions have somehow made a positive impact on at least one person's life in that moment, that would then be something I would call a success. And really, it makes it worth doing. So yeah, you can really apply that logic to pretty much anything in your life. Even a depressing office job. If you have a laugh with a coworker or share a funny moment, doesn't it make the whole day just feel better and worth it? Or how about coming home to a loved one or cooking a meal together? Sure, it's not going to win MasterChef, but you know, you made that meal and you shared it with your loved one. Did it make them smile and fill their bellies? Yeah, then it was worth doing. Let me know if you agree. You see, I find this train of thought very comforting, especially when things get really tough in life, as they so often do. And while we're on the topic of tough times, I'd like to share a personal experience of mine, just for some context on how I arrived at these conclusions. Part 3, my story. So before I continue, I just need to give a quick disclaimer. Everything I share here is my personal opinion and experiences, and it's meant for entertainment purposes only. Always seek professional help if you ever find yourself experiencing dark thoughts. I've left a link to some help resources in the description if you need it. There are people who can help. Alright, so this next part of the video is a little darker. I want to let you guys in on something that happened in my personal life. Around the end of 2024, I experienced burnout. I was a wreck. My job chewed me up and spat me out. And me, the idiot, kept overworking, pushing myself to impossible expectations. I struggled to get myself out of bed in the morning. I would go blank and quiet in social settings. I got these random heart palpitations, and I would just stress about work all the time. Before going to bed, first thing waking up, it was always haunting me. And even when it wasn't, I always felt so tired, always too tired to do anything. So I started withdrawing from other activities in my life, and I began spiraling. Eventually, after weeks of pushing me, my partner convinced me to get help. And luckily for my sake, I listened to her. I saw a therapist, and one of the things that she said to me kind of stuck with me. And it's the part about going back to that point in your life where everything felt fine. And for me, that was my childhood. I mean, that's where the idea for this video came from anyway. Writing a letter to myself was a form of self-discovery and self-healing. And so I figured if it helped me, then maybe it can help you too. And I heard your feedback when I did the burnout video. I know that many of you are facing similar challenges right now. So I wanted to share this message, even if it helps just one person who needs to hear it. Plus, not gonna lie, it's kind of therapeutic for me to share my journey and talk about this. You see, I've begun trying to kind of bit by bit, occupy my time with things that actually genuinely make me smile. Being creative, for one thing. Writing like younger me set out to do all those years ago. These words you're hearing right now are the result of that decision. Yeah, it's been a tough journey, and I'm not even close to where I need to be in terms of recovery, but I'm taking each day as it comes, and I'm trying to find that balance and inner peace. Doing these videos is kind of just one way that I can share things that I'm passionate about, but it's not the only way. See, sometimes I get kind of sucked in and obsessive with the things I do, and then I need to take breaks and re-ground myself. And I don't know if it's the same for you or not, but that's just how I tend to be. So now it's kind of about harnessing that energy, but then making sure that I'm doing so within a healthy limit. Anyway, that's my cross to bear, so I won't bore you with it. Now, before I go, I'd like to leave you with one last thought. It's important to remember that our reasons for doing things should always be rooted in some kind of self-nourishment. Even if it's a horrible job that you hate, maybe there's just that one small thing. Maybe it's a new skill, or a little human interaction, or an opportunity to make someone smile, even if it's only just a little bit in that moment. Because really, at the heart of why we do things is love, and to share that love with others. Even if it's just a small thing like a silly YouTube video that no one ends up seeing, but I know I enjoyed making it. And if you enjoyed watching it, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. It's been good talking to you. Maybe I'll do more of these personal reflection pieces. Oh, and one last thing before I sign off. So I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs, and I could really use your help to get there. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And before you go, here's some other videos I've done that you might like. So until next time, good night.